Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Typical Skeptic Podcast. This is going to be a really fascinating guest today that I have for you guys. I have with me today Rob Potter. He is with the website thepromiserevealed.com and
.net, .net.
.net, I'm sorry, .net. And he's going to be talking today about the Venusian mission, the power of love, the spiritual liberation of Earth, the restoration plan, and it will focus on actual recorded messages from the Venusian hierarchy of light, Valiant Thor, and Lady Orda. Rob will be speaking about a Venusian moon base in command of Aura Reigns and Alwan, and the 2,400-year-old Venusian security chief. He will be sharing direct messages from the wonderful new information that is in regard to the Venusian and the Galactic Confederation of Light missions on Earth, and a little bit more about Rob's biography. He is a world-renowned, real physical contactee of the Venusians and Pleiadians. He shares his knowledge freely about travelers from these worlds. He's been having physical encounters with our space family since he was 17. Rob is a contactee of over 49 years and is happy to speak about messages of love and peace from our friends from the stars told Rob to give the world. And we'll get more into his biography because he's going to tell us all about his story. So he works with Raymond Keller. He leads tours to South America, Bolivia, Peru, Egypt, and Hawaii. You can check out his website for upcoming tour dates to Machu Picchu and Bolivia. Rob is working closely with the Venusians. He says their philosophies and technological advancement can surely serve to enlighten Earth towards an era of peace and prosperity for all. Rob's personal face-to-face contacts are also increasing and have given him much now and relevant information to share with the world. Rob says, heal our world and create peace so our emancipate our minds and free ourselves from the tyranny and be able to embody equality and justice and liberty and fraternity in our societies. And that's that. And we'll get more into that. But Rob, thank you for joining me. How are you?
My pleasure, brother. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So where does this story start off with you? I mean, I heard you on Coast to Coast AM, but I don't think that does it justice. We have a lot of time. I know we're going to get into a PowerPoint here and some sounds and from the Venusians themselves, but where did it all start for you?
Well, for me, it started from seeking and trying to understand the truth, really. For me, that's where it came. I was a pretty, my mother was very spiritual. And my great grandmother, Catherine Tiffany, was kind of the famous socialite in New York and involved in creating the Better Business Bureau with her husband, and was in hang out with Harry Houdini and the beginning of religious science and Christian Science, and was a contributor. And my mother grew up in that knowledge, and she passed that hunger on to me. At the age of 8, I was this is on my front page about me at thepromiserevealed.net. There's a lot of information in there. We'll share that a little bit, but basically I was 8 years old, and I was just thinking the world's a mess. What's going on? I mean, this is like 863, 64, right? So the civil rights movement and the riots and the racial division, I couldn't understand it. So I go, Mom, what's out there? And I was like thinking, where are we? Who are we? What's going on here? I asked the questions about life. And she goes, nothing's out there. It goes on forever. Stars, planets. And I go, it can't go on forever. And she goes, you think's out there? A wall? What's on the other side? So I went down to my room, and I was in a basement room in a bed, and there was this light that maneuvered into the center of the window, and I received my first telepathic exchange from my space family, which I now know to be my Venusian family. And they basically showed me that everything was moving along, and that everything would come to a head, and there would be an evacuation. Now, this went a long time ago, and I'm not sure what that meant. I kind of wonder, will I be left behind? So fast forward, 16 years old, living in Laguna Beach. I got the birth lottery in Laguna Beach, beach town. You've probably seen it on television, selling the OC and the hills and all that. Idyllic, forget all the nonsense on the show, but the natural beauty, the coast, it's the best beach on the West Coast, bar none. Number one, because the water's warm enough that you can swim in. You start, there's beautiful beaches, of course, in Baja, but From San Diego up, you got the military bases, and La Jolla is nice, but Laguna has a series of coves, and it's absolutely stunning and gorgeous. You get to Newport, they got big flat open beaches, Huntington, then you get up to LA, the sand's filthy, and then you get up Malibu, they've got some nice beaches. I went to school at UCSB, so the beaches are awesome. I had no idea I was living the beach boy life. I was a lifeguard. I played water polo. I know Olympic volleyball champions. I know world record. I had this beautiful little life going on. I grew up on the beach. My stepfather was very wealthy. And that's kind of my brief history. And then at 16, I read Psychic Discoveries Behind the Iron Curtain, Rob. And I was like, okay. And I laid down and I said, okay, I'm gonna use my mind, and I'm gonna, do things. I couldn't do it. So for about a weekend, I was really into pyramids because that was prominent in the books. And I now work with that, but with the pyramids you wear in your head. But I met this NASA scientist who a girl at school. I was talking about pyramids, and she goes, Robbie, I know the Pyramid Man. I go, the Pyramid Man? Really? So I went up to his house and began my association with Dr. Fred Bell. His great uncle invented the telephone. His father invented the automatic transmission and the alternator for Henry Ford. He brought the London Bridge over. He was an engineer. His name was Alan Bell. And Fred Bell grew up in Henry Ford's hemp fields, because he was building a car made completely out of hemp that would run on ethanol. We could have saved ourselves a lot of oil problems. But at the age of 8, he was fixing radio sets. At the age of 15, he was already left school and was studying the shockwave of the atomic bomb under Dr. Leonard Katz in a linear accelerator in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Okay. So at the age of 16, which was illegal, the Air Force came and conscripted in the Air Force, and they took him to UC Santa Barbara, where he got a PhD in physics before his 17th birthday in August. So he was pretty much a child prodigy and genius. And he was in the Air Force. And then at the age of 20, he went to Point Reyes, California, where UFOs were coming in. He was born in 43. So during the Cuban Missile Crisis, UFOs, primarily Venusians, were coming down and vectoring off of the magnetic lines of force and shooting down to look at the nuclear threat. The Venusians became very involved in with our advanced technology and nuclear power. They've made provisions and have become very, albeit defensive. So there's a lot of things about free will and all of this that goes on to understanding. But to be clear, the Venusians are our primary guardians, always have and always will be. We will become a member of the Galactic Confederation of Light. That is our local confederation. It's comprised of 601 worlds in 51 solar systems. There's life everywhere in higher dimensions, not only on the third dimension, the fourth dimension, the fifth, the sixth. And this is a very complex understanding. And right now, the average person has been dumbed down, and we don't know. So that began my my studies of spiritual teachings and the deeper look into the universe. And it was through my teacher, my master, my mentor, my friend, Dr. Fred Bell. And when you look under my shop, he passed away. He was assassinated with a direct energy weapon after he had gone on Jesse Ventura. So I wasn't sure about that, but I found that out later.
I got a question. Are you friends with Sean David Morton too? Because he was I think he had an affiliation with Dr. Bell as well, and he's from around your neck of the woods, or he's at least from California. I don't know. I know that there's probably people from Pennsylvania that I don't know though too. But I mean, I figured you guys are around the same time era as well. And
That's right.
he was an Art Bell alumni. I thought maybe a lot of things lined up that you might have known him. So I figured I'd throw the name out.
Yeah, Sharp. Sean, I've known Sean since we were 16 or 17. His mother was named Maureen Solomon, and she was part of the National Health Federation, kind of the precursor to the New Age movement. It was the National Health Federation got start fighting the government trying to outlaw vitamins, and they were actually started with the Venusian technology called the dipolar array. Two guys were healing cancer with one cathode ray tube. That's another aspect of technology, and I know that well. So we traveled with all of the Michio Kushi of Erewhon and, Pablo Areola, Victoris Kavinskis, Fred Bell, Bernard Jensen, Pat Flanagan was hanging around in those days. So I was around traveling the country with Fred Bell. Sean was generally a peripheral character to Fred Bell. He came in and hung out. He was kind of advanced. He's always kind of, everyone knows Sean. He's kind of full of himself, and he talked out about the government, mocked them, and you keep pushing the envelope there, and you're going to get burned. He ended up in prison, and unfortunately, he's going through a tremendous amount of difficulty and suffering. I respect him. I feel bad for his condition and what he's going through right now. I can tell you, he doesn't have, he thinks he knows everything, and I guess some of us always do think we know that, but he doesn't know what's going on right now. He's very involved in the alt media and the political aspect. The spiritual aspect of the hierarchy of light and the Venusian context is something completely different. And after, 50 years of being a face-to-face contactee, I've been taken into a closer association with our Venusian neighbors. I've been on board a Pleiadian mothership with a woman named Semyasi, UFO contact from the Pleiades. And I met one of the scientists. His name was James, in Canada. Very tall, no hair on his face, looked like a 15-year-old boy. His skin was white. You could look in, they call it blue blood. You look in, you could see his veins. It was more translucent. I'm sure he was a fourth dimensional etheric. So the ETs do have the ability to lower their vibration. The Venusians, Valiant Thor, the commander I met of the moon base, is sixth dimensional. So a lot of stuff to unpack and so many questions that average people have.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of people on about Valiant Thor. I mean, I've had Elena Danan, who, she says she's had conversations with Val Thor. I've had Craig Campobasso, and
I know Craig.
I love Craig. He's so awesome. Like, he wrote that movie Stranger at the Pentagon, and I love the story of Val Thor. I just really do. I love the story, that the fact that there was once this guy who came to Earth to try to set things straight, but for one reason or another couldn't get it done. And then maybe he kind of left with kind of like a dismay for whatever humanity was.
He didn't leave with a dismay. No, he's been in charge of the Venusian, directly appointed by Jesus the Christ to head the Venusian mission to Earth. It was decided at that time. See, the moon-based commander, Raines, was the one who met Eisenhower on the tarmac in 1954. Now, okay. I know Valiant Thor. I met him. I know many of his. I've met quite a few of his crew members on many occasions. I probably met 20 of them. They haven't always admitted who they are. So I know the story of Valiant Thor for sure. Very real. I'm gonna say I respect Elena Danan and I respect Michael Salla. I introduced Michael Salla to William Tompkins. I introduced Michael Salla to Raymond Keller, who we quoted 19 times, but refuses to have him on his show. I'm not here to create any rancor or division. I'm very, very close with Alan Collier, and we all have different understandings and beliefs. Elena Danan, she said some things about Dr. Frank Strange's in relationship to Valiant Thor. I was kind of surprised at her position. When I met her, she denied my experience, and it's okay. I'm not going to create any division or anything. If she dares to ask Valiant Thor about me, she will learn. She doesn't choose to do that. So, but I can promise you, I'm working very closely with Venusians. For those who study giant rock in the early days of the first original contacts in modern day, they've been going on for thousands of years, my friend, from Atlantis. It's never stopped. And it became very clear there's a lot of politics involved in the extraterrestrial in regards to free will. I can explain that in the future, but I respect Elena Donan. I know she's having very high experiences. Some of her information is faulty. I don't emphasize that. I give great respect and props to her for what she's doing. Me, no one else, Alex Collier, none of us know everything. We're all here. We have our human apperceptions. I actually asked Alon to have us all come on board the ships, and why don't you take us up and all get us on the same page? Because I'm really sick and tired of the ET followers. This person, I'm following this person. If this person says something different, they go out and troll someone else who's claiming something different. It's nonsense. We're all here for the spiritual truth. This is not an ego battle for control of Earth and what people believe. This is a spiritual mission to raise the vibrations of the planet as we move into the tribulation period, which is talked about in the Bible. But Valiant Thor is a good guy. He sends questions to me. I have a voice recorded message to him, and I met him in 2003 with another Venusian, another woman. That'll be in my book when I finally release it.
That's fascinating. That's fascinating. Like, so, I'd love to. Do you want to bring up your PowerPoint about the Venusians, or do you want me to? I can keep asking questions, or whatever you want to do. Like,
yeah, we could. Let me. What am I thinking here?
I want to get. I want to be able to you to get all your points across, and I don't know if I'll be able to touch on everything that you know that I. You know what I mean? Like, I want you.
Yeah. Let me give. We'll bring up the Venusian PowerPoint. Let me give. Show my website real quick so people can. Oops.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
See that? I got to move this up here. Okay. So this is my website. So you can see me in Las Vegas coming up here. Actually, I think my website's the booth is different, but this link goes somewhere. So I'm going to be at Stairway to the Stars. I didn't get that up here, but it's here. This is my website. You can learn about my history here. I do have various products. This is a short book that gives you a lot of stuff. These are some of the technologies. My friend Raymond Keller, I want to share with you some Venusian books because this is where people, they really want to research. You know, it's easier to ridicule than to research. And while I'm pulling this up, this is one of the books here of the, I'll just go into the book section. Raymond Keller has written 9 books on Venus, and he's very close with the Venusians. He got to live there, and we're going to go into that in the thing. So he's a dear friend of mine. This is him in a time travel back to 1954. This is about the history of the Venus people coming here. This is the legacy of all the extraterrestrial contactees who no one knows their name anymore, but they were telling the truth of going to Venus or being lifted up and all the information. This is the rockets of Venus that pretty much kicks ass on anybody who says there's no life on Venus. The governments are lying. They have nothing for us. The governments are corrupt. Every single one of them. They've all been given information. There's probably some well-intended ones, but if they know they speak out, they're toast. So that the governments no longer have any power. The money has been taken over by ground command.
I got a question. I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Go ahead.
This is very important. The rockets to Venus. Can you tell us about that? I've never heard of that book. Like, does it show proof that they sent rockets to Venus, or what's up with that? Like, that's interesting.
Well, we've sent up 44 satellites, and if there's no life there, what's the interest?
Yeah.
So
really, right?
You're right. So he basically explains, and it's 1,000 degrees here. If you look outside the Earth, down at our upper ionosphere, it's going to be 2,000 degrees. Venus is less hot than the Earth, but there's something going on. This goes into the prophecies of what's going on. So you can actually buy the entire set here. We have some incredible deals going on. And if you become a member of my inner circle, but I want to go back to the homepage, and I'm going to show your people on the Truth References blog. I'm going to show you a couple of the important.
I noticed that you promote your friends, which is good. Like, I mean, like that's not a bad thing. I think that's good that you're involved with people in the community and you want to promote their work. That's good. That's refreshing, because there's a lot of people that like are very, like not so good in this business. You know what I mean?
So, well, he needs promotion. A lot of people are in it for money and they become a machine. of posting every day and all this stuff. And mine's a little more low key. So there's a lot of information here and stuff you can look to. Important conference information. There's some Venusian messages in here, the Gospel of Thomas, and things like this. So I recommend that you look at the truth references to different sections. And this is a really important one. I call this a cosmic plan. This is a combination of my teaching and my writing, along with a guy named Giorgio Pacienza, who is working close with some very important South American contactees. Okay. Where's the cosmic plan? So this is kind of the cosmic plan. I put these in here, but if you look at the cosmic plan, we have to go back. Here it is. So this is a very important article it has information from my dear friend Luis Mostojo Fernando Martens, a contactee from Bolivia at 15. And he is a very high spiritually developed brother. He's been inside the inner earth to 3 different locations. He has traveled to the moon Ganymede. He's traveled to Venus, and he's traveled inside the earth beneath Lake Titicaca. So I have a lot of information. I have people in the secret space program giving me information. So my truth references, you can go to the secret space program, and this kind of talks about the technologies and all the contribution. These 3 are very good. Raymond Keller is amazing. So I'm going to take that off now, and I'm going to share with you 2 pictures of, I'm going to go to the PowerPoint if you like. So I'll tell you a history of Raymond Keller. He was taken to Venus in 2012 to witness an ascension of the previous Queen of Venus. The Venusian Society is patterned after the bees. Nikola Tesla was from Venus. He talked about the bee society. So Nikola Tesla was brought here from Venus. He was born on Venus. He was placed as an orphan on a Serbian priest's doorstep. And he was here to give us technology that hopefully we could bypass the industrial age, but he was marginalized, and the representatives of the Anunnaki and the fallen beings that have been cast into the earth, who ruled this world by a universal law, unfortunately, as part of the default of the heavenly administration hierarchy during the fall of Atlantis and all of this. They've been here and they've corrupted mankind, and they don't like mankind. And they've created a group of hybrid elite families that allegedly control the world. And let's say they've had tremendous influence behind the scenes. I'm an expert in this field. Very few people can follow my information. There's a lot of researchers have a lot of information on this, and I respect all of that, and everyone has their own thing. But I have a very clear picture on the position that we've been in and where we're going, and it has a lot to do with the planetary liberation plan. So I'm going to bring up the PowerPoint here, and I have to be careful here. I have to do these one by one, and there's a certain one I can't show anymore on a public because the Venusian commander I met is on Earth a lot, is all I can say. And a couple people found out she does have a public persona. And I can't reveal that information. So it says .com, but it's .net. So I'll come down here and I'll play from current slide. Let's see. I'll go from. So these are prayers given to Dr. Frank Strange's, my mentor. He was a teacher. Fred Bell was a mentor. And these have to do with how they act and walk and talk. Okay, here's Raymond Keller. He's kind of humble. He doesn't like this. So, but I'm going to give this. I'm trying to get people interested in this information. I want them to focus on the spiritual information. Sometimes they are not interested in me casting pearls before the swine, but in this day and age, long as I follow their directions and maintain certain things. I'm a postman delivering a message. I'm not concerned what people say. So this is a little demonstration for he did with the guy that he works with. And the Venusians gave him a technology, and we'll show that a little bit, that he could activate to disappear. He occasionally goes on messages and it can travel. So he told the guy there'd be a buffer. The guy turned on one of those Christmas light things with a laser behind it, and you'll see the laser doesn't go into the buffer. And he's going to disappear in a quick moment here. And this is real. Oops, I'm not going to, let me get back up there. He's going to disappear. This is, everyone can believe it is fake. It's up to you. But for those trusted messengers and emissaries, this technology, Elena Denon has a different style. She's a Pleiadian, and she's working with them. She is working with the Super Confederation of Worlds. She met the same woman I met. In her book, she talks about meeting. Her name is Jill, Valiant Thor's wife. I met her in 2007 in Las Vegas. So you see here, my friend Raymond Keller arranged to have a meeting with me. He goes, I said, God, I've had so many experiences. I know they're there. Gabriel Green taught me so many things, and I just really would like to meet him. And so he asked along the series. He goes, hey, can we get an experience face to face for this guy? And Alon goes, mm-mm. So he said, ask the Queen. So we're going to take you into Raymond's little history here.
I'd
so
like
Raymond,
to meet the Move Venusians if they can have it arranged. Like, I'd definitely.
You may have met them unaware. You're probably not going to meet them arranged. It took me, 50 years, and there's a lot. What can you do? What do you have to offer? There's a lot of people that meet them unaware. Some people are told. They work in finance, they work in military, they work in science, they work in psychiatry. They're influencing everything behind the scenes, like Wizard of Oz, just as the fallen Anunnaki have been doing that. Now, I'm going to show you a picture here, and I'm going to ask you, can you think of a musical artist who may have had an experience with a Venusian?
Elvis?
I'm going to share. Possibly. Elvis was very spiritual. He's still alive, actually. He's a pastor in Arkansas. He gave it all away, the money, the fame, and the fortune. He's preaching for Jesus. He's pretty holy roller. So these two women came to visit Raymond Keller on the completion of his first two books, Venus Rising and Rockets to Venus. He was in a little place called, I think, Shady Lake in Pennsylvania. And he was at this conference, and these two women came down the forest. There was a flash of light. The guy goes, hi, who are you? He goes, they said, she said, I'm Lady Columba and I'm Lady Aurora, and we're here to congratulate Cosmic Ray on his two books. The history is, this woman here on the left is Lady Columba. She was born in 1902 in Pennsylvania, and she went to work in India under the socialist Christian movement to help the people. Her life was about serving others. You get to see how people get chosen to be a Venusian by their service and their empathy and their caring for their fellow man. Here we see Lady Columba, born in 1885. She worked with this woman in 1929. They were both working in Rishikesh, Hardwar, the home of the Kumbh Mela at the foot of the Himalayas, working in the socialist Christian movement to help the poor people there. This woman worked for the East India Company. I don't know the year or the time or anything other than she was leading them as a tour guide into the higher elevations beyond Badrinath into the higher Himalayas. On the way back down, they encountered a beggar. Imagine the hike up there to Mount Everest, those little villages they go through. And there was a guy on the side of the road. He said, oh, I'm very injured, and can you please help me? And he goes, and she goes over to him, and she goes, oh my goodness, we must help him down. And the pompous, arrogant East India, the kind of the CIA, the world domination elite corporation of the day, Leave that man. She said, I will not leave him. And she got some food. She goes, you won't get paid. She goes, I can't imagine what she said. She probably said, you can go. She nursed this man down the hill for 5 days. They were just at the top. You could literally see, and all they had to do was zigzag, and they withheld her pay. So they got to the bottom, and the man straightened up and said, you have great compassion. I am not sick. I'm an ascended master, and he teleported her to Venus. She became a dual citizen at some point. Whether it was before or after she met Lady Columba, I do not know. Lady Columba was known as Annabelle Krubbs, born in Pennsylvania, and there's a book about her called Lady Columba, Venus Revelations. When she was here, she also gave Raymond the transcript of this book detailing her 1958. She was taken to Venus and lived there for 4 years, mostly on the moon base with the woman that I met, Clarion. And this goes into a parallel Earth, government stuff, tremendous information in this book. You want to know about timelines. You want to know about parallel Earths. You want to know about Venusian technology. You want to know about what some people call the rapture or the evacuation that took place in Atlantis. It took place during Noah's time. And you want to know about, what they will do when the destruction comes, the tribulation. That is coming soon. So that's some great information for you. Any questions at this point?
No, I mean, the one girl looks like I know her from somewhere. I feel like I've met her, the blonde, which is weird. When I saw her, I said I know her, and I don't think I do. I mean, unless I met her.
You might have seen one of my shows. I've shared her picture a bit. The question was,
but what I'm saying is I might be a contactee. I might have met her somewhere, like on a, because I don't have any memories though. I don't claim to be a contactee.
Right.
I just don't have any memories. But when I saw her, it was very, let's put it this way, it was very strange because it looked like I met someone I knew before.
Maybe. Now, you know the favorite Bible verse of many contactees and Venusian contactees. Do you notice she's wearing a red beret?
Yeah.
They're wearing a little uniform. When they're in official capacity, that's what they do. They have a B pen made of solid gold on their hats when they're on a mission on Earth, a public mission. They don't necessarily announce it. But if you you can see the love and the light in their eyes. They're very high. These are what are called translated ascended masters. And we'll get into that. So I asked you, can you think of a musician that might have met a Venusian?
Yeah, it's amazing.
She wore a raspberry beret.
Prince.
And if it was warm, she wouldn't wear much more. She wore a raspberry beret.
Oh my God, I never thought about that.
Right. Well, I'm revealing that. I haven't even asked them. I don't need to because I know, but I'll ask them eventually. So
he's not alive though. I mean,
no, but he changed his name to the symbol of Venus, which is actually a combination of the symbol of Venus and Mars. Did he go there? I don't know. I'm sure I don't know what his sickness or illness was or what the story was. He may have had AIDS. He was pretty out there on that level. But I'm pretty sure he did that. And so there you go.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Right. I love Prince. That's so amazing that like he had that secret and nobody knew. Everybody just thought that was like that song was that Raspberry Beret was just kind of like, she got it at a secondhand store, but maybe she's a little bit fashion whatever, like fashionista. But little did they know that it was about a Venusian. That's amazing. That's so
now I'm
amazing.
sure they became lovers. Raymond Keller, when he went to Venus, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's get back to the PowerPoint real quick. And I'm going to where'd that go? I'm going to finish the PowerPoint. So Raymond Keller, my friend, was allowed to go to Venus. And so he arranged this meeting with me, and I got to go beyond that because her picture is not really supposed to be disseminated. I have to take that out now. So these are the two books. This is him in his third book. He was taken this is the current Queen of Venus. This woman is born in 1585. She has not died. She was born in the Basque region of France. And this is him in a time travel. This is him with his little invisible machine. And this is quite a story. I could go into this a little bit, but when he was on Venus for 2.5 months, I can go into that a little bit. Okay, so there they are again. So let me go into the story. So Raymond Keller lived in 44 countries. He's been in the Air Force, the Army, and the Navy, and always in a non-combative technician. He worked at Top Gun Naval Base as the secretary there, and he was in San Diego, and he also worked in South America. He speaks Spanish and was working against the rebels down there, which are really the freedom fighters, I believe. And so he was teaching in Wuxi, China. One of the people that taught him, he was a UFO nut like crazy. And that's the Queen of Venus. She's the beautiful Lady Orda who ascended to Venus in the miracle of translation. She was born in 1585. Her parents gave her to the nunnery in 1590. And at the age of 5, she was put to work in a nunnery, and she got tired of becoming a slave. She was making all of the habits and the clothes for the monsignors. So she cut her hair. She dressed as a boy. She made a hat. She stole a single silver candlestick and escaped. Now, on her first or second night, probably even her first, there was the accidental apostle known as Lord Dismas, more commonly known amongst the New Agers or the people who talk about ascended masters as the ascended master Moria, the famous master that was photographed behind Helena Petrova Blavatsky with ascended master Saint Germain and Kutumi. El Moria, or as they call him on Venus, is now the regent of Venus. Though they're a Venusian society based on the bees with a women matriarchal society, they have many councils. Men are included in the royal council. But the regent, if they have any questions, they always defer to the ascended master Moria, and much of this information is in there. So let me go and see if I can go here real quick and go to, okay, so this is her. Do you know who this is?
It's Semyazi.
No, that's George Adamski.
No, but the girl is Semyazi, no?
No, that's the Queen of Venus, Lady Orda.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so now we're switching. We're switching from the Queen, and here is George Adamski in 1952. He was telepathically guided by some other people that went with him to the desert near where I used to live in Palm Springs, and where I had many of my contacts out there, and with a woman he called Orthon. This was a woman. There were 2 Venusian men, one that came out the craft, one that remained in the craft, and a cigar-shaped ship above. She said, "Tell them I'm a man." Earth society would not accept a woman in a position of authority. But it's true. The first contactee was a woman. George Adamski was one of the first people in 1952, beside Howard Menger, the famous picture, which I'll show you shortly. I met Howard Menger. I knew him, his wife. I'm pretty well connected here on this level. I put a lot of things together. And the mission is spiritual. This is not about spaceships and spacesuits, the overall mission. But I'm here to lay a groundwork of the reality of our extraterrestrial friends, and to let you know there are thousands of them living, talking, working amongst us. And they will come out in the future. And their positions, there's many more who are influencing our society behind the scenes without unbeknownst to them. Think of the Bible scripture. Beware lest ye entertain angels unaware. This is the command. This is in 1954. There was a Brazilian researcher, and they were at George Adamski was talking. He was had a cafe next to the Palomar telescope, and he was allowed to use the telescope, and that's where he started seeing the UFOs. So here she was supporting him in 1954, and you can see she is holding her nimbus. Nimbus is a Venusian word. Harry Potter has a little secret there. It's a little small sphere. You fly around. They tried to catch it on their broomsticks, but this is a highly technological device that allows them to activate it with their higher mental powers. They would be called the depths, and it has an interdimensional spiritual nature to it. She's quite small. Please note the shoes she's wearing in 1954. She loves these shoes, I'll tell you that. So she was accompanied by a Venusian man named Firkan and a Martian named Ramu, the guy with the glasses. This guy with the glasses was pretty tall, and people were kind of reading them. And they telepathically were reading the people's minds as they saw them. Okay. And they started to say, she kind of looks like the picture. And that, so they decided to exit quickly. And the people were kind of following them, chasing. This Brazilian photographer took a picture. She speaks Spanish. Her favorite safe house is in Brazil. And her story is pretty heavy. So this photo was taken back from 1954 by Raymond Keller, who went into time travel, and their Nimbus crashed. This is a wild tale, and I don't care if anyone believes it. You want to know about time travel? You want to know about someone who's traveled in time? You want to understand this? Research, listen, investigate, and follow this. We're not going to get into government politics and this and the UAP. That's all nonsense. UAP, UFO, what's the difference? They're all lying. They've been working with multiple races. They've been taking technology from them under their watchful eye. And we're about ready to launch into the truth age. But first, we have to come together spiritually. That's my real mission. Here is a picture of him in 1972. She met Gabriel Green. This is a guy I was very close with. He introduced me to a lot of spiritual psychic phenomenon in the desert. So he and I went to the same man unbeknownst to each other. And he met this woman, and they went down to a military base. And Gabriel Green took this photo. And there she is. She hasn't changed from 1954. Here she is in 72. And this picture was taken in 1954 from our timeline of 2013. Try to figure that out. My head kept exploding. Now, Supergirl is based on this time travel mishap. This is from one of the editions of Supergirl, and it blows your mind beyond you can imagine. But Raymond is so wonderful how he brings this out. The reason he's not well known is he doesn't speak like I do. I get right to the point, and I speak about these things. Raymond is a researcher. He'll talk about, well, in 1954, she appeared, and when they disappeared, activating her nimbus, there was a magnetic pulse. I researched in Canada, and Dr. Matthew so-and-so read a magnetic pulse, which is a result of her using her device to disappear like Raymond did. All three of those beings disappeared. They ran into a eucalyptus grove, and people were kind of chasing them down the hill. And guess what?
What happened?
A swarm of bees came and kicked them out.
Oh,
So
wow.
now seeing the spaceship of their Nimbus, it was that like that round bubble in 1954. This picture was not available in our timeline before 2013. I can't imagine. So the first Giant Rock Convention with all those guys there was was pretty good. So I made a mistake there. So I'm going to go forward real quick here. This is a message. I'm not going to play this one.
Dear friends of
this is a message about tachyons. The Queen said to me, all of this is included with my thing. I do want to play one other message here. So
dear
this is Valiant Thor. So this is these images were given to me by Dr. Frank Stranges. One of the contactees told Dr. Frank, and he told Augie Roberts that there were going to be some Venusians at Howard Menger's meeting. This is in 1957, I believe this was.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that picture. That's a famous picture. That's Valthor and I forget Jill, right?
That's Jill, his wife now. This is Don Thor. I've met all three of these people. I was in 1982. I was at Gabriel's Creek house up in the Yucca Valley. And I asked him, I said, what do they wear? He goes, well, when do they come down here and stuff? He goes, well, Rob, they love the 50s. I go, really? He goes, oh man, they were into the hair and the whole, the DuckTales and all of that. So I left him, and back in those days, they had what's called a TikTok, like a 7-Eleven. And I went there with another famous psychic guy. This was for me, though, this particular experience. He didn't recognize it. But as we walked into the TikTok, they had a ramp. I'm walking up, and in comes Don Thor. He is not his real brother. Valiant Thor was adopted by the Thor family. He hasn't changed a bit. He looks exactly the same. Now, I met her in 2007, and I met Valiant Thor in 2003 at a rainbow gathering. He was accompanied by 4 people, and Valiant Thor was accompanied by 3 people, and he was accompanied by 3 people. And he came in a mint condition, baby blue and white 57 Chevy, baby. Convertible, the back was down, and 3 gorgeous blonde women, pigtails, ponytails. They were wearing white blouses, high up to knee, white socks, brown saddle shoes, and little plaid skirts. Now, the skirts were much shorter, more like you see on Austin Powers, right? But then the day in the 50s, they would have been down to their knees, but they got out. They didn't get out through the door. They put their cins over the side. They slid off the convertible, and they started skipping through the store. And Don Thor was coming behind me. I kept turning around. The girls were going. I'm watching Don Thor walk up, and I was getting something, and he timed his time in the store. I had my eyes on them. The girls were just gorgeous, amazing. The energy was like laughing, 12-year-old girls, just joyous.
You know what I find so interesting about this picture is the reaction of everybody's face when everybody's faces are everybody who's not them, faces are pointed towards them, and they're like in awe of them, right?
Yeah. We have reports that Raymond Keller was given a lot of the notes from these people. Now, they spoke Afrikaans. So in order so they could talk amongst themselves, they said, yeah, they're talking like one of those exotic, like those tribes people speak. They can speak every language. They basically have it downloaded into their brains. They do have to practice, but we look at them here and they don't age. The moon base commander has been on Earth for 300 years. She worked in the American, the French, and the Caribbean Revolution. So here they are. Here's Don Thor. They knew Augie was taking pictures. This is to validify and solidify. And of course, it's coming out now. His name is very well known. And I feel very fortunate. I met him. He's sent me private messages, and he gave me some gifts through them and stuff. So Howard Menger suspected they were Venusians. He didn't know. One of the people who said that one of them was seen jumping over a 15-foot fence. So they got kind of superpowers, but they're not egoed out about it. So when he came into the store, this is a message that Valiant Thor sent to me that I sent to the woman in China. We were arrested in China. Raymond and I went to China. Here, Valiant Thor wrote in perfect Mandarin script a message to this beautiful girl. He gave her, I call it a red rose gold pin of Venus. She was really emotionally, deeply seeking knowledge. She was a beautiful woman. Her name is Sue. There was another woman who became a girlfriend of mine for a short period. And there was another gentleman named Maui, and another girl named Aurora. And there was a beautiful group in Chengdu that supported us giving the message of love and light. I'd come once. I spoke a couple times unofficially. Then I came back a couple months later. They arranged some meetings, and they had me build my pyramid systems products. And of course, the Chinese came in, arrested everyone in their control network, and these people went down, were fined, and we were deported from China.
Oh, wow.
You know, the Chinese deep state is pretty much a mess. I'll say that. So that's my thing with Vine. I'm going to fast forward here before I share, because okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I can't show number 5. Okay. So okay. So I'm going to go here. So now I have to monitor my sharing of what I'm doing here. So because I can't show a picture, I need to amend this, but I have to respect their wishes. I'm a postman delivering a message, and they don't want the heat. They would never be caught. The government can't do anything. They just don't want the controversy of someone saying, I know that girl, she's so-and-so, and therefore she's not real, right? So let me share the screen here, and we'll continue on with this little PowerPoint. And feel free to stop me and ask questions. I don't want to hog the.
Oh, no, I'm fascinated. I'm just really
share here.
fascinated.
So this is a current slide. So this is Valiant Thor, quite handsome. There's some great stories of him. There's hidden truths in Raymond's books. So he gave me these original books by Dr. Frankie Strange's. He called it My Friend from Beyond Earth. So the Venusians gave me the original one, published in 1960. And after his meeting with Val at the Pentagon, and I think Val signed it. This is the Venusian Omnek. Hers is another unique story. I heard about her when I was, I think 19 or 20, fascinated, totally tuned into her. And you notice her hands, all the fingers point together. That's the Venusian flame finger. She was born on the 5th dimension of Venus, and the ascended masters asked her to come to Earth. They wanted to find out if you were from the astral plane on Venus, which is mostly the civilization lives underground. Valiant Thor, when he goes to Venus, he's resident in the 5th and the 6th dimension. They lower their vibration in their service to the Earth. So this is part of their sacrifice in serving the Earth. So I heard her story. I was at a rainbow gathering even years later, and a woman said, oh, I live next door to her. And she showed me pictures of some paintings she drew. So I had a deep fascination. And Wendell Stevens bought her out to the public in 1980. And she wrote a book called From Venus I Came. And she talked about her life on the 5th dimension. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is George Hunt Williamson, very high spiritual psychic who was very prevalent in the communication with helping George Adamski. Now I had to get out of there real quick. I need to bring this up because I had the moon-based commander and it's not about money. I'm not trying to squeeze people for money, but they've asked me not to publicly release her image. I often release it if someone pays to come to one of my conferences, and they're generally, if you're going to pay money, you're on board. You're not going to ridicule. And they wouldn't be able to find her. It's a happenstance that it happened. And I guess they're willing to take that risk. So I'm going to share. This is a picture of the moon base commander in 1954. And there was a attorney from New York who was at this convention. And here she is. She's got quite chalky and stocky legs. She's not quite that big now, but she did have an Earth life and a family. This woman lived on Venus. And she had a family up there. And she probably didn't even tell her, but she walked over to this guy who took the photograph, who was an attorney, and she goes, I'm from Venus. Here's a picture of her. And I took the picture out, but on the right is Frank Scully. And on the left is Long John Nebel, the Art Bell of his day.
I've heard about him.
Yeah. So she was called Queen of Outer Space at the first Giant Rock Convention Center. And she really was a beautiful woman. She's quite stunning now. And she can project an etheric double. And I asked questions and I said, how did that? She goes, Rob, read the Seth material, Oversoul 7. So she is an oversoul. She is crazy. I can't even wrap my mind around half the stuff. My stuff explodes. When I met Raymond, Rob, he's telling me, the bee people. I go, the bee people, I'm like Elaine in Seinfeld. I say this all the time. I push him and go, get out. He was on the phone, but I'm just like, what? So Raymond has so much spiritual metaphysical knowledge. I usually put contactees. Oh, I'm a contactee. I not so much anymore. I have more empathy and compassion, but I usually put them under a hot spotlight. What, who, where, when, what time, where they. Oh, and it comes to find out, well, I got a download and I saw a light. That is a type of a contactee, and those are real experiences. However, my personal feeling is and I've talked to Alon about this, the security chief, several times, and the individual's apperceptions. You've got their religious, their belief systems, their everything colors how they will treat their experience. So that's why I like to meet them face to face and get transcripts of their messages. Now, here we get here. What do we see? We see Commander Aura Reigns. She was quite the communist. She worked in the French Revolution to take down the monarchy and the elite rule. That's what we're doing now. The elite proxies of the Anunnaki, which are the elite families, the black nobility, those that involved in those dirty rituals of blood sacrifice. That's been happening since Egypt and before. It continues. Whether you believe it or not, this is over. There's still some negative things of this nature still going on amongst these elite families. And hopefully these situations can be addressed. The Galactics are removing the higher echelon bad guys. So now, we're going to go, we got to go beyond. Yeah. Okay. So that's a public message.
These communications are given.
Okay. I'm going to skip that. So I'm going to stop share here and I'm going to go directly to the recent messages from the Queen. And that she sent to me this year. So I get messages from her or from the other commander. I can now play the messages audio of them. So I'm going to play the one for this year's conference. And I think I'd like to take a break. I've done some stuff and allow you to ask some questions. And those audience members who would like to hear we might do another more live thing based on some stuff with Rob, but I put some stuff out here. I've made a lot of quote claims. And if you have any questions in regards to details of anything I mentioned, please feel free.
Oh, no, I'll think of something. Right now, I'm just taking it all in. I'm fascinated. I really think I want to believe it's real. You know what I mean?
It's real.
The evidence kind of adds up though, right? I mean, it's like it's
look at the pictures. She hasn't changed a bit.
Yeah.
So, when someone asked me, I don't know where to go with this. What do I believe? And my suggestion, in for a penny, in for a pound. Take it all as truth. And I can assure you, what I'm telling you here, I have not lied. I'm not a BSer. I'm not making near as much money as Elena Denon, Jason Shirka, many others who are on the role. I don't know what other people are doing, but I'm not judging anyone. And I would love to be monetize my site. I'm just not technologically smart enough. Hey, anyone out there knows how to monetize YouTube, get a hold of me. I'd love you to help me. I'm a toddler with 3 thumbs, caveman toddler, trying to work it out.
I can help you out with YouTube. I'm on there right now. I'm on there, but I mean, I share a lot of controversial stuff. So, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, you got to do your dance, right?
Yeah, you gotta share the controversial stuff. Otherwise, I
You
mean,
can't talk about the Jabberwocky, but
no, you can't.
they still have limited AI on that level. So I'll just say a lot of people get triggered because the message that I'm tasked to deliver is one of the cosmic Christ, and to also give warning to the people of the earth. So that's the preamble to this message. So I'm allowed to have private questions and answers, and when I'm doing presentations, the Queen will record a message for me, or Commander Rains would do the video message. They haven't done the video ones because the commander was the one who did that, and her identity was found out by an individual with heavy resources. He denies it. But I want people to consider this. If they're traveling beyond the speed of light, if they live in a paradise world, don't you think they could appear on Earth and have fake IDs?
I never really thought of that.
Yeah, come on. I mean, Valiant Thor, they have 12 main ships, and they have each of those ships has 2 ships cloaked in the astral, in the fifth dimension, reacting faster. They can read the mind of every single person within a mile. They monitor over 1,000 people that know of their ships and their locations. Their ships are cloaked. They can control people's minds and thoughts, not in a negative way. But when Dr. Frank Strangers walked into the Pentagon, he said, open up your, she said, open. He said, they're going to see. And the woman who took him there, Nancy Warren, a beautiful Black woman who Valiant Thor had befriended in the Pentagon, said, can you follow directions? You were a Secret Service agent and investigator. Just follow instructions, Dr. Frank. And he was panicking. They're going to rip me out of line. And he said, just get over yourself. So he did this. He went through 4 levels of security. He told me personally, Lyndon Baines Johnson was in the same town. He was giving a talk, and Secret Service agents came up to him and said, Dr. Frank Strangers, and they flashed their Secret Service badges. And Dr. Frank was in the Secret Service, but he was looking for counterfeit money. And he said he went and saw Johnson. He was up in a room. It was in his underwear, down to a white T-shirt. He had those, high socks with suspenders back in the day. And he's smoking a big cigar. He goes, how the hell did you get past security at the Pentagon? He's, So Johnson was intimately involved with George Bush Sr., or his real name is George Sheriff, the Nazi, worked directly under Hitler, the greatest spy, and Obama's grandfather. Hitler was Obama's grandfather. I got stuff on that to blow people's minds. They're not triggers a lot of people, but I guess I'm a machine gun on that level. So he told them, he just, in the past, it's called transimagery. When I saw Valiant Thor for the first time, I go, that looks like Valiant Thor. And because he's a created being, he doesn't have a belly button. So I looked down at his belly button and it was fuzzy, and I forgot that he was Valiant Thor. That's how my meetings went with them before my official interview and meeting with the commander and him. So let's say, I'll just say that they have abilities. So they could disappear like the Queen did in 1954, but she has a family, a life, and they just want less stress. They don't answer a lot of questions in regards to politics because they don't want people being triggered. I had to really pressure them on this thing that was forced or allegedly forced or mandated to finally admit some of them are used for military purposes. They did not want me polarizing people who are in it to win it to be driven away from the spiritual message, which again drives many other people away about the message of Christ and his importance.
Yeah.
So, what would where would you like me to go from here? I can.
You can play the message if you want. And
Okay,
then,
let's go ahead and play the message.
We can set something up with where we can do a part 2.
I'll show some images. This message was for my last conference, which was called Angels and ETs, or the new spiritual paradigm, angels and ETs in the multidimensional omniverse. So I'm going to share some pictures. I'm going to cruise around my website a little bit and show some books.
You want to hear something crazy?
Sure.
My this is crazy, so it must be I have to share this. This is how sick the world has become. My Telegram just popped up out of nowhere, so I must have been meant to see this. Before you play that, comedian, actor, and Russell Brand, he likes to fancy himself a conspiracy guy, just accused of raping and sexually assaulting 4 women, including a 16-year-old.
That could be a setup. I believe he's well intended. He did a comedy thing called The Messiah Complex, but this is the type of distraction. I know Wendell Stevens, who was a early warning guy. He chased UFOs. He was being taught by James McDonald on the president's weather information, and they told him about UFOs. They showed him some evidence, and he went and he was there with I want to say Eisenhower about the UFOs, or no, wait, it was maybe it was I think it was Nixon or someone. He was up there. He goes, "What about these UFOs?" I'm talking in a big meeting. So, like, a couple of days later, when he went back home to Arizona, he had committed suicide this way, but just gave himself a lobotomy. He lived. And then somehow, from a coma, he woke up, made his way into the desert, and committed suicide with a bullet this way. So it will get you killed. The Venusians have told me they have saved my life many times in certain instances by removing me from certain situations that could bring me harm. So I'm pretty stupid, and I'm pretty fearless. I don't give a monkey's butt what people say. And if I die on my mission, that's cool. I guess I shouldn't be that flippant. But this message is going to speak for itself. And so I'm going to play this message. Nod your head if you can hear it. People, listen carefully. I'm going to be playing these messages in a series, and I'm going to make comments before, and I'm going to talk about all the messages I have with the Venusians. And part of my inner circle, it's time that if I monetize my site, I should, I spend a lot of time. So I don't charge for my speaking too much. So here's a message from the Queen of Venus given this year.
Dear friends of Venus and light workers assembled at Mount Shasta in Northern California, this 22nd day of June 23rd, for the opening ceremonies of the 23 Summer Conference, The New Spiritual Paradigm, Angels and Extraterrestrials in the Multidimensional Universe. This is the Queen, Lady Order of Abahar, the planet of abiding love that you know as Venus, is speaking to you from a safe house situated somewhere on the east coast of the United States. I consider it a great honor for me to address you today. In the coming days, you will interact with many ascended souls touching your spirit to activate both a personal and collective transformation of consciousness advancing you to yet higher levels of awakening and understanding. We have taken good note that many of you have already expressed your appreciation to Commander Valiant Thor, Alan, Lady Columba, Lady Aurora, Commander Aura Rains, Dr. Frank E. Stranges, our historian Publius Virgilius Morrow, our ambassador Onek, Helen and Betty Mitchell, Sister Thedra, Lady Ankara, and many others so dear to my heart, those of our angelic forces of light, for granting you access to night classes aboard our Victor class cloaked and ethereal star vessels in orbit above our planet. We are also pleased that so many of among you have already recognized your callings and missions in preparing your fellow beings of Earth for overcoming the obstacles that are surely headed to your planet in the difficult days ahead, long foretold by the avatars and prophets sent among you since the beginning of recorded history. You, dear brothers and sisters in the light, are the fulfillment of the prophecy written by the Apostle Luke to the General Assembly of the Church of the Firstborn in Acts 2:16, which reads as follows: "And it shall come to pass in the last days, said God, I will pour out of my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and your young men shall see visions, and your old men shall dream dreams." Now, I feel at this point that I should say something to you about angels, since that's the theme of this most special conference. Your understanding of just who and what angels are is limited by the religious constructs imposed on you since birth. Apart from the atheists or agnostic, however, most believers in God and a hereafter can acknowledge the existence of a heaven or pleroma populated with both some of our dearly departed ones and a class of highly evolved spiritual beings commonly referred to as the angels. The word angel is derived from the Greek angelos, which simply signifies messenger. In the Bible, Standard King James Version, we find a compilation of 66 books consisting of 39 in the Old Testament and 27 in the New Testament. We know that angels, therefore, are important insofar as they are mentioned 273 times in 34 of these 66 books. And in all of these references, we find angels always presented in the context of being otherworldly visitors of a primarily spiritual nature, but having the ability to appear to humans, in most instances, in a form similar to that of the human body, with slight variations. Reverend Dr. Frank E. Strange, who lived on Earth from the period of 1927 to 2008, and now resides in the Crystal City of Azure on Venus, was once director of the International Evangelism Crusade of Van Nuys, California, and a globally recognized authority of the subjects of extraterrestrial life and flying saucers. He now wants you to know that there are at least 4 classes of angels serving the inhabitants of the earth for various reasons: messenger angels, ministering angels, guardian angels, and reaper angels. These otherworldly entities frequently show up in the lives of human beings during their times of special need. Perhaps they will come to you in order to bring you safely through some distressing or dangerous situation, or perhaps to warn you of coming trials or catastrophe ahead. But in most cases, an angel will come to bring you words of spiritual knowledge, delivering secrets of the celestial realms, essential for your physical or spiritual salvation and eventual exaltation. Of course, these angels bring all of us such cosmic gnosis, not of their own accord, but as directed by the Father of Lights. And then, there is one classification of angels that long ago lost their privilege of serving humankind. These are the following ones: about 1/3 of the hosts of heaven that came from all 4 of these aforementioned categories of celestial servants, but put themselves in rebellion to the creator of the universe and were, as a result of their defiance toward God, ousted from heaven. These are the ones you have to look out for, my friends, as they are lurking in all the dark corners of your world, ready to pounce on you like a roaring lion. In a previous message imparted to you by our beautiful Clarion Moon-based commander, Aura Reigns, she told you of the COVID pandemic, that it was but a foreshadowing of the pale horse prophecy in the Apostle John's revelation given from the Isle of Patmos in the year 99 of your common era. This was a direct sign that we are approaching the predicted 7-year period of tribulation, granting assurance to you, the saints of God in these later days, that the reaping angels are standing by to whisk you away to super Earth's paradise worlds now being prepared for you in the Sirius star system, a celestial incubator. And all of this in order that you'll be saved from alarm and danger when the 4 horsemen will ride across the sky and the blast of the 7 angels' trumpets will announce the pouring out of the vials of plagues and destruction upon the earth, such as have not been seen since the days of the prophets Noah and Moses. It's very important to act while there is still time. About these angels, they also appear to herald the birth of very important figures, or even those who would be emerging on the scene. Sometimes they would come to caution the world about an enemy who could potentially threaten it. That is another scripture from the book of Revelation, chapter 14, verses 6, 7, which has great importance in our day. It reads as follows: "And I saw another angel fly in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel to preach unto them that dwell on the earth, and to every nation and kindred and tongue and people, saying with a loud voice, Fear God and give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment is come, and worship him that made heaven and earth and the sea and the fountains of waters." This will be the last call, the last chance for many to escape in the rapture of the saints, the terrible calamities coming as foretold in the remainder of chapter 14. Do not hesitate to sound the voice of warning throughout the land. These visitors have been appearing since the beginning of time. If you go back into ancient history, you will find that in many cultures and civilizations all around the world, there is evidence of otherworldly visitors with wings who would come to speak with important figures on earth in whom they felt could help them in carrying out the contents of their messages. The wings, of course, quote unquote, are representative of this being's ability to fly. Overall, we know that there were messengers that came throughout time. And I will let you in on a little 4th dimensional Venusian secret. These angels also came to earth in and out of time. There was no partiality shown in the deliverance of the message geographically or spiritually. And so, do you want to know who is that angel flying in the midst of heaven? You, the light worker, are that angel. In fact, you were called to be an angel before you were ever incarnated on the earth plane. And that is your calling, dear one, to be a messenger of the light and spread the gospel or good news of the coming degrees of glory and exaltation that await each and every child of God, should they step up into that marvelous light. And please keep in mind Dr. Frankie Strange's and Lady Ankara's favorite verse, Hebrews 13:2, which clearly explains each and everyone's highest calling on earth's material plane. Be not forgetful to entertain strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unawares. Exercising kindness is the key that unlocks the door to celestial riches, both abundant and eternal. Hold on to your heads, dear ones. We are all in for a real roller coaster ride in the next decade. This is the Queen, Order of Abahar, Thank you for your kind attention.
There you go. So that's a message. Did that bring about any questions for you, or?
It seems like they're really motivated on that the humanity is going to change spiritually. Like, is that correct? I mean, that's what I got from that. That they have high hopes for the humankind.
They absolutely do. I'm going to say this, that the Venusian message and mission is, let me see how, is primarily a spiritual one. Their behind the scenes activity, they choose to keep it remain hidden due to the apperceptions and the control of the media by the fallen ones. And many people are well intended, but they're triggered. They have partial information, and we have desires. Our world has been led to believe that money is a god. Money is the root of all evil. And that's what the Luciferians, or the fallen ones, the Anunnaki, controlled through the quantum system. That quantum system was handed over to an Earth representative in 2012. And that person is a woman, and she alone is, quote, ground command. She doesn't know everything. She makes errors, but she makes 10,000 right decisions a day for humanity. Her ethics are very strong, and she now has enforcement that we would never be able to accomplish, because at our highest level, the highest technology that we have has always been under the control of Marduk and the fallen beings that literally, through a default in the heavenly administration in the interior government of the ownership of the earth, had the right to control, and they used it against humanity. And so now the judgment time is coming. It's a cycle. It's a cycle. And the way that we look at it is, I could talk about the, oh my God, the dew weapons on Maui, or the this and the that, and all the bad things they're doing, and they're doing this and they're doing that. And clearly they are. And we don't understand who they are. But the people in politics in Washington, D.C. really do nothing. They have not passed a law in 4 years. Nothing is registered in the Hall of Records. You don't have to go into the sovereignty movement because you're already free. You always were. There is no legal basis. Everything, the Corporation of America, the Corporation of London, the Corporation of the Vatican, all of these machinations in the paperwork is actually no longer valid. The Queen said to me, I said, why don't we just step forward now? She goes, and the Queen told me privately, she said, Rob, if everyone knew what you, me, and Raymond would, they'd stop focusing on the negativity, and that's what we need to do. We need to create alternative platforms, and we need to gather in associations. Right now, we're looking to our city hall, to those leaders, those bureaucrats, those functionaries, those who promote agendas that are created long ago for the destruction of humanity, leading towards an end times domination takeover by a transhumanist agenda. And there's many people very aware of that, none more so than the Office of the Guardian. And I don't want to talk about that right now because it's very controversial, but that will be known to humanity in the future. Our conundrum now is we have these brave people in the military who don't realize that throughout history, every war has been about power, control, and manipulation. They call it a theater of war, ladies and gentlemen, because they've manipulated people into believing, let's go kill those Japs, let's go kill those Germans, let's go, and they get people to fight. Go back to the days of the kings. They put the reptilians right on their castles, and they go out and they would create blood sacrifices in the fields with swords while they stayed at home. It's the same thing. Wars are good for nothing. God bless you for your patriotism and what you think is right. But the level of destruction now, people need to mind their own business and stop supporting these half-human or hybridized Rockefeller, Rothschild, Blue Dragon, White Dragon, all these interests. These people have been calculatedly engineered in their genetics to be part fallen angel. And this does go into the Bible. And it's such a deep thing to unravel. So what I do is I'm preparing to do a trip to South America. I think I'm going to get it. I'm going to call it the 12, and I'm going to have 12 people come with me to South America. I'm only going to have 12, and we're going to go down to South America to Lake Titicaca, and we're going to meet my brother Louis Mertens, who's very connected with the inner earth, has been inside and seen the civilizations and their preparations for humans that will be taken inside during the cataclysms that are unfortunately natural, but they're coming. And I'm going to take them to Lake Titicaca, the island of the sun, the island of the moon. We're going to go to Tiwanaku and some other places, a beautiful place called Mary. It's just going to be like a week, but it'll be a very jam-packed, it's more spiritual information. We will see flying saucers and stuff like that that will come to acknowledge our group. But I want to bring more spiritual gnosis. The alt media, those people are really well intended. Okay. This is that, and this is happening, and the reset's not happening in the way that they think. The reset is not going to come through the government or the White Hats. Currently, the White Hats are not doing anything. There are elements of White Hats within the military, but they're all compartmentalized. They're not under ground command. There have been overtures made. They have been educated now to the higher levels of the true covenants and the control of the earth from the higher dimensions. And mankind has free will. And it comes down to, basically, it's so simple, everyone, stop focusing on the negativity. Focus on the message of Christ. What is the message of Christ? God is a spirit. Okay? We're all children of a living, loving spirit. We are all one. We are all one family. Do unto others. Worship God. Worship each other as God. See God in each other. And do unto others. That's it. You can't have billionaires, running around.
Sorry, I was going to say, but it's really well said. We might have to do a part 2 because I have to do another show really soon.
Yeah, let's do one live maybe.
Yeah, I'd love to do one live. I think that'd be great. You're amazing. Like, you're an amazing guest. Like, this was awesome. Like, do you want to, do you want to just do that? Do you want to schedule another one and we can do it in like a week or something and we can do a live? Sure,
I'd be happy to do that. I do want to, I'm going to talk about some future prophecy here. And anything could change. God can turn earth into sky and sky into earth. And to doubt that is to show that our limited understanding of the infinite nature of a living, loving creator. There's a lot of things about Christ that, I'll take the hard questions from the skeptics. And I want to throw out all the dogma of all the religions. I want to break the barriers between the Hindus, the Muslims, the Christians, the Jews, the old, the rich, the poor, the young, the man, the woman. All of these judgments that we have to unify and come into a spirit of cooperation and empathy. That's the message of the Venusians. And we need leaders now, Rob, and we need information because our societal infrastructure is going to break down. And I'm going to talk about solar warming, not global warming. I'm going to talk about a hydrogen cloud. I'm going to talk about earth changes, where they're coming from, and what mankind must do. Others are talking about this. Alex Collier, Greg Braden, Observer Ranch, scientists, and I'm getting inside information from my brothers and sisters, my space family, our space family, your space family, our protectors, and to turn towards to manifesting peace. You know, we don't need $1 million for a project that we're going to handle in the reset. It's not about wealth. It's about cooperation and serving the least of us. That's how they measure a culture.
Yeah.
It's been an honor and a pleasure to be with you today. I kept asking for questions, and I hope you have a lot of them next time, because I want to respond to you and to the people as well.
Yeah, we'll do. This was amazing. Like, yeah, we'll have I'm gonna put the episode out tomorrow, so that'll give people time to see it, and then we'll schedule another one, and then we'll set up a live Q&A where people can ask you questions and stuff like that. How's that sound?
Thank you, my brother. And I'm going to, I just noticed I wasn't logged in. So I do have a secret space program and a HARP program with some stuff that you have to be in Inner Circle to see. The Inner Circle grants you many free books and stuff. So I do have a little subscription service, but a basic membership will get you discounts to my summer conference. I would like to invite you to come as my guest this summer to Mount Shasta. It's going to be July 18, 19, 20, and 21. I'm changing. It's going to be much smaller this year. Maximum 300 people. And it's going to be in one location. I usually have 3 different rooms and 2 locations and 30 speakers. I'm going to bring it down, and I'm going to get some real contactees. We'll have some other people that will be doing workshops and stuff at night. It's beautiful. It's surrounded by national forests. We got bathrooms. Camping makes it cheaper overall for the average person. They don't have to do hotels and motels. There'll be limited numbers, but it's a great conference. I get great respect. Alex Collier loves it. I've had Corey Good. I've had Michael Sala. Laura Eisenhower's been a guest. James Gilliland, Raymond Keller. I don't know, rock stars. Vivian Chavez is wonderful. I had a guy named Ismail Perez. It's a little controversial due to some differences of opinion with others, but I wanted to bring us together and to focus on more spiritual understanding and practices. You know, I do a lot of intellectual knowledge, so my intention is this year to bring about more personal transformation. Knowledge is one thing, but we got to bring it into reality. Thank you so much for your time. It's been an honor. And remember the promiserevealed.net. Check it out. Search it over, folks.
All right. Well, thank you, Rob. And until next time, we'll do another one. Have a good night.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Rob.
you for sharing all this information. It was amazing. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, brother.
All right. Have a good night.